I've tried to accept it. Being an older guy, being a leader on this team, that's not necessarily my nature, my personality, but I think definitely that's what the team needs. So I've tried to accept that role, and every day I'm just working to be a better vocal leader. Each day.
Well, what do you do to try to accomplish that? Is it getting the guys together in the locker room talking? What types of stuff?
Yeah, just kind of getting the guys together, not in front of the coaches, kind of just a players talk, and then just trying to be as encouraging as possible. Playing football is a difficult game, so I know a lot of guys get down on themselves. So just trying to be that older guy who's encouraging, who's always helping. I think that's the biggest thing that I've tried to help with.
There were a couple times Saturday it looked like Bach was losing his mind over there on the sidelines. Is it frustrating for everybody right now? And how do you fix what's going on?
Right. It's definitely not the outcomes we wanted. But I think the only thing we can do is go to work. I think we're a work in progress. There's bright spots. There's definitely spots we have to improve. But I think, just watching the film, there's just opportunities that we miss. We shoot ourselves in the foot. We jump off sides, different things like that are just hindering us from going forward. So I think just really honing in on the details, kind of focusing in on the little things, and I think the big things will come after that.
There's something that we talked about how some things that showed up in the game aren't necessarily showed up in practice that adds to the frustration. I guess from your perspective, what do you feel like some of those things are? I guess how do you kind of correct them if they're not showing up in practice?
Right. Yeah, it's tough. So, going against our defense is a great challenge, but, it's definitely things that, are happening in the game, I would agree, that aren't happening on the practice field, and, we just got to learn from 'em. I think the only thing we can do is just watch the film and grow each game from those mistakes, not making the same mistake again. I think is the biggest thing that we have to learn from, not continuing to make the same mistakes and grow from those mistakes.
What were some of those things, I guess, in the game against Georgia Tech?
I would say just jumping off sides, different things like that kind of are like holding penalties or different things like that that'll like we'll have a good play and then we'll do something that kind of sets us back a little bit. So just I guess it goes back to details and just being confident. I think, but yeah, I would say like just jumping off sides, little things like that kind of it will hurt us.
Jordan, where do you feel like this offensive line is compared to where you thought it would be?
I think the whole offseason we were preaching, depth, and I think we still have that depth. I think we have guys that are capable of playing, and I think they're growing each day. I think we're growing as a team. We're growing as an offense. It's kind of we got some returns back on the offensive line, but we also have some new guys and then some young guys. But I think, we have the depth. I think the depth can play. I'm confident in those guys. So I think, they have to experience some of those things. So, just getting them in the game, and letting them learn and grow, I think will help a lot.
Jordan, I think you guys played the same five, played all 70 offensive snaps. Is that kind of what you're talking about? And who are some of those guys you'd like to see get more opportunities?
Yeah, definitely playing a lot of snaps, take a toll on your body. But, I'm excited about the challenge, of playing a lot of snaps. I love playing the game, so it's always a good thing to me. But I think guys like, Mitchell Mays is making tremendous progress. He's getting better. He learns so much. Hunter Rayburn, Paul Teo, those guys like that, I think they're big. They're just still growing, still learning. But I think those guys, the only way to grow is, you make mistakes. You have to learn from them. So I think, once they get in, they'll see the film, see areas they need to improve in. I think they'll get better.
You can't put me in the mind of an offensive lineman. You come out Saturday, you've practiced, you've seen the scout team do one thing all week.
Right.
At what point did you notice, okay, this is different? Was it play one, play two, play three? And then what were the conversations going on along the line, and then when you get to the sideline?
Right. Yeah. So we practiced something totally different, and then we go out there. I think the first snap, and I was like, "This is not what we practiced," So, and then we kept going, and we came off the field, and then we realized like this is not what we practiced. We got to shift our mind. Focus on what to do against this defense. So I think, nobody was really startled or anything like that. We just knew we needed to. There's different techniques, there are different ways to play against this defense. And I think, it took us a minute, longer than I would like to kind of adjust, but I feel like we did that towards the end.
That's kind of hard for some veterans adjust to that totally unexpected look? What do you think it's like for Marcus King?
Yeah.
To deal with that?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's absolutely tough for him. You know, being a freshman, being in that position, you know, in big games, you know, it's definitely got to be stressful. It's got to be hard. But you know, I'm super confident in him. He puts in the work. You know, he's out here asking questions. He's watching film on his own, watching film with me, different things like that. So you know, as challenges as it is for him, I know he cares so much, and he's, you know, just trying to learn, trying to grow and get better.
As a guy who's been through a lot of wars and seen a lot, did you enter this season thinking, man, I think we're going to maul everybody? Or did you think, regarding the offensive line, did you think, yeah, we're kind of a work in progress? Like, what was in your head sort of going into the season?
Yeah, so I think we had a really good offseason in the weight room, different things like that, and I thought, you know, I still think coming into the season, you know, I thought, you know, we were going to be like pretty improved, and I think we're still a work in progress. But I think, you know, it's playing offensive line is already difficult as it is, you know, and I think we're just still, in a sense, building that chemistry. You know, Marcus is a young guy, and it just takes time for him to adjust, you know, to different defenses. You know, we go against the same defense every day, but just adjusting to different defenses and different game plans, you know. So I just think we're still a work in progress. We got guys that care so much. So, you know, I'm excited for what's to come, honestly.
Coach Elliott was saying he feels like a lot of other defenses probably are going to try something similar moving forward. Just from your perspective, what do you feel like adjustments can be made to be better when that does happen?
Absolutely. I definitely think a lot of defense will, you know, try and do what Georgia Tech did. But, yeah, just, you know, really, you know, the coaches are going to get us a great game plan. And I think our biggest thing is just executing. You know, it's, like I said earlier, it's the details the small details that we'll neglect and will cost us in the long run. I think executing and just finishing. I think we're moving the ball pretty well, but, you know, we just get, you know, to the 30 or the 40 and we stall out, you know, and instead of, you know, stalling out, we need points. So I think just finishing is also a big thing.
A lot of people think that offensive line is just hitting the guy in front of
Right.
you. When you've got a zone blocking scheme, you've got 3 down linemen, and you've got linebackers kind of on the periphery. How important is that communication between just even you and Marcus on, you know, here's where I'm going, here's where you've got to go?
Yeah, it's difficult, you know, especially in loud environments. But, you know, it's a lot harder than people would ever think. You know, I got to tell him if I'm working with him, if I'm by myself, I'm working tight end, you know, different things like that. So I think a lot of people don't really understand how difficult it is. But, you know, being on the same page, 5 people on the same page is never easy. But it's super difficult. But, you know, it's something that we got to continue to do.
Jordan, what do you do when you guys need time to develop this chemistry but don't necessarily have it?
Right. I think, you know, we just got to work on it each day. I think I don't necessarily think you can really speed that process up. I think, you know, just taking it day by day, really focusing on what we're doing. And I think just coming together as a whole, not even just the offensive line, but the offense, just coming together, focusing on what's best for the team, putting everything like ourselves behind us and just focus on what's to come and what's in front.
How different it's going to be for you guys this week going on the road? You haven't been in
Right.
this kind of environment now 2 years.
Yeah.
Everybody's pulling against you. For an offensive line, how difficult is that to get this?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. But at the end of the day, it's just ball. You know, at some point, you got to tune out the noise. You gotta really, you know, lock in on what's important. And, you know, the fans, that's what they're supposed to do. You know, they're supposed to root for their team and root against us. But, you know, you can't focus on, you know, what's outside. You got to focus on what's right in front of you and lock in.
I've heard guys say before the road trips are actually good for building chemistry. Are you looking forward to getting up there Friday night, you know, and being in a hostile environment Saturday? We know what it's like to play
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
You know, what are your thoughts on that? And then how difficult is it to play in part of it?
Yeah, I'm super excited. You know, I think being on the road, especially in an environment like this, you know, it makes the whole entire team to come together. You know, it's not an offense, it's not a defense, not a special team. We're playing in an environment when it's just us versus everybody else in that stadium. So I think it makes the whole entire team come together. And I think, you know, as a team, that'll be super good for us. And then as far as playing there, it's going to be loud, it's going to be hostile. You know, but at the end of the day, you got to love it. You know, this is why you play games. This is why you play football, to play in big-time games. So I'm super excited.
Anybody have a question on Zoom? Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you all.